James, how's it going, bro? Appreciate you being patient. Sorry, I was
Yeah,
finishing
for
up a
sure.
call.
For sure, you're all good.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm actually out right now driving for dollars, so I pulled over real quick to hop on this phone call.
Bro, let's go. Where are you driving for dollars?
I'm in Worcester right now, just like some
Okay.
side neighborhoods. That was one of the things I was going to ask you is like, I don't really know what markets are like super hot, like in Massachusetts, so I kind of just picked one like over 100,000 people, like population, median home price is like under 500,000, so I was like, I'm just going to go drive.
Love that. I'll tell you what, all the markets are the good markets.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, there's deals everywhere. I'll get into that in a sec. If you're cool with this, are you cool with me recording this call?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. Actually, first off, let's figure out what are you hoping to accomplish and stuff.
I just want to, like, I don't know, sign some contracts, like, getting some deals, Just start wholesaling for real.
For real, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, as far as markets go, actually, you're doing what you need to do. You know what that is?
What's that?
Just taking action.
Yeah, for sure.
You're beating 95% of people. 95% of people. And how old are you?
I'm 17.
Oh my gosh. Bro. Actually, I'm going to take that 95% and add like almost 5% to it. 99.9% of people your age are, one, not even focused on anything that you're focused on right now, for one. Or two, they might be entertained by it. They might be watching YouTube or something like that, but they're just not taking any action. The fact that you're out, bro, at 17 years old, driving for dollars, just trying to get a deal, that's incredible. You are like light years ahead of most people in the industry, which is great. So
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
kudos to that, bro. Well, I'll tell you what, there are a ton of deals in the North Shore. So Worcester's a great area. There's a lot of deals in Worcester. Like I was saying in the
Yeah.
beginning, there's really deals everywhere, bro. We market across the entire state, pretty much from Springfield all the way to Boston. And then we'll go pretty much in the whole entire state of Rhode Island and then the entire eastern part of Connecticut from Hartford on. So if you do like a circle, pretty much over the entire state of Massachusetts, eastern part of Connecticut, and all of Rhode Island, that's really where we focus. And we get deals everywhere. Pretty much, like we have a deal in Agawam right now that's all the way out west near Springfield. And then we have a deal down in, let me think of the furthest one from that. We have a deal in Connecticut, and then we have another deal in Fall River. You know what I mean? So there's like
Yeah.
there's deals everywhere throughout the entire,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, pretty much throughout that entire fishnet of all the people that we're reaching out to. They're everywhere. So really, as far as your market goes, I personally, as far as what I would personally do if I was you, is I would just keep it simple, bro. Whatever's in my backyard, anywhere like 30 minutes outside of it, as long as there's people there, bro, there's deals there.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as there's people, there's people with problems. And as long as people have problems, then we have a business.
One of my biggest concerns was just like median like home price. Like up where I am, it's like upwards of $700,000 median home price, and I just don't know like how like many cash buyers like are looking to buy homes in that range. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you'd be surprised a lot.
Really?
For sure.
All right.
Yeah, you would think that it would be like, well, I need to go to a lower end market because the prices are actually cheaper. But dude, there's fix and flippers that are buying cheap houses, and there's fix and flippers that are buying expensive houses. Fix and flippers, the good ones have a business model, right? And their business model really goes after only a certain type of project. Maybe they are really good at new development and single families, under 2,500 square feet. And that's really all they go after. And what they do is they'll create a process to take down those properties so that they could just keep pumping them out. And then there's fix and flippers and developers that focus a little bit more on high end. Maybe they only focus on the new construction that is 3,000 square feet plus, or they only focus in the areas that they know are going to be selling over $1 million because they know they have more room for error, right? So it really all kind of depends. And then you have buyers that are on any and every. There's buyers that don't really have a business model, and they're like, hey, listen, If I can make the numbers pencil out and it makes sense, then dude, I'll just buy the deal. What you have to realize is, dude, fix and flippers are not doing the thing that you're doing right now. They're not going out there cold calling. They're not going out there driving for dollars. They're not texting homeowners. They're not sending out mailers. They're waiting for people like us to go find them the deal and bring it to them, or people like agents to bring them pocket listings and stuff like that, because they're busy running their crews. They're busy managing their rehabs and, dealing with the city and stuff like that.
Right, yeah, for sure.
So really in any market, especially here in Mass, bro, if you have a deal and the numbers pencil out, unless you get like, there's some random towns like in the western part of Massachusetts that just really don't have any activity. Those are kind of tough to move sometimes. But dude, if there's a town or city that has at least, call it 10,000 people in it, bro, you have yourself a deal if you can make the numbers pencil out for sure.
All right, for sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was one of just the biggest things I was worried about, because I just, like, really just had no idea where to start. And I was looking at, I watched a lot of, what's his name? Just, like, on YouTube, there's, I think it's Flip, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He talks a lot about list source and just like trying to find good markets, like because you can look like see how many cash buyers are buying in like a certain area.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking at places in Mass, and I see like most of these towns have like one cash purchase of properties in the last like 6 months, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I don't see a lot of activity there. I don't know how accurate that is, but that was just another thing that I was looking at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to stay around a city, like I said, that has at least like 10,000 people in it. So if you're in a smaller town, it's going to be tough. A lot of those deals too in those smaller towns, like when there are deals, if the deals are scarce, people are already plugged into those towns because they're just like everybody knows everybody. And it is kind of, it's hard to break through if you're just focused on those towns. But what I would say is in Essex County alone, there are enough deals for you to eat every single month. Like you'd be good just hanging out in Essex County. Especially if you're driving for dollars, because driving for dollars is one of the purest ways to just go out and see and find a deal, and it's great. And it's like, I forget the percentage. I think it's crazy. I think it's like 60% of people get their first deal from driving for dollars. So driving for dollars, it's a great play, because you're looking at the physical thing. Like you're seeing, hey, this window shade is kind of messed up, or there's something going on with this person's roof and it looks like it's been that way for about 4 or 5 years. Why haven't they fixed it yet? You know what I mean? And you're not seeing that on PropStream.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So driving for dollars is great. However, it's tough if you're going all over the place. You know what I mean? So what you want to do is you just want to kind of focus. In Essex County, I would think that Lynn and Lawrence and Lowell, those type of cities are in Essex County, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like cities like that, those are great for driving for dollars, because, and you're making a right move by driving for dollars in Worcester too. Worcester's a great place to drive for dollars. But the reason why I say that is it's going to take you less time to add more properties to your system. If you're doing a town that's a little bit bigger and more spread out, you're going to be driving, a half a mile until you see the next house. But for me, my office is in Canton, so like the closest city that would be great to driving for dollars to me is probably Brockton. I can go in Brockton, bro, and I would see every other house would be a property that I could add to my driving for dollars list. You see what I mean? It's a little bit more efficient. So if I was you, if driving for dollars is going to be your strategy, I would try to search in one of those cities where it's a little bit more dense. That way you're not driving everywhere and, only adding 10 properties an hour. Like in a city like Lowell or something like that, you're going to be able to add 10 properties in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to add a lot of prospects, which will give you a better shot. The next thing I would say is be consistent, because it's going to be tough. You might go 30 days and not have a deal. You might go 45 days and not have a deal. You might go 2 weeks and then get your first deal. You don't really know. It just all depends. You got to go put the action in and let the action go to work. But what happened to me in the beginning is, just like yourself, I was on YouTube. I was like, dude, I'm sick of, what did I have at that point? I had a junk removal business, and it was decent. I was, we were making decent money, but it just wasn't something that got me jacked up. And up to that point, I heard about real estate. I went to like a 3-day workshop. They taught about wholesaling, fix and flipping, and buying, holding, and it just got me jacked up. From that point on, I didn't take any action for maybe like a good 5 years, but it was always a seed that was planted in my mind and it got me jacked up. It got to the point where I was just like, you know what? This junk removal business is cool, but dude, I want to go in real estate. Like I want to do this real estate thing. So I stopped operating my junk removal business and I just went full time into real estate, full blast. Luckily, I had a couple bucks that kept me going. But dude, it took me 7 months up to that point to get my first deal. And I remember in the middle of that, there was maybe like at month 2 or month 3. Dude, I was in my bathroom at 2 a.m. one night, and I'm just in tears like, bro, why isn't this working? Like, what the heck am I doing? I feel like I'm just spinning my tires right here. This is like my 5th business that I've tried to start, and it's just not working. Like the other businesses kind of worked here and there, but I don't really like them. But this is what I really want to do, and it's just not working. So what happened after that is I ended up hiring a virtual assistant, and it was the first marketing channel that I was consistent in, because up until that point, I was doing something similar to you. I was just learning on YouTube, and every single time that I would learn something on YouTube, like from Jerry Norton, he was one of my guys that I would listen to a lot. Great guy, great educator. And here's what I would do every day before like I kind of made a shift. I would watch a YouTube video, and then I would go out and do whatever the YouTube video was saying. So if Jerry was talking about calling agents, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go call agents today. All right, I'll do that for a day or two. All right, I feel like I didn't really get anywhere. I didn't get a deal. All right, what's the next thing that Jerry's talking about on his page? Oh, he's talking about door knocking. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and door knock. And then I would go ahead and door knock for 2 or 3 days, and it wouldn't work. Oh, what's the next thing? Oh, he's talking about sending out mailers. Okay, now I'm going to go send out mailers. All right, crickets, nothing's happening. The problem is I just wasn't consistent in anything, right? I was trying to do all the marketing channels, and I wasn't consistent with any of them, so I wasn't seeing opportunities on a consistent basis. And then what happened is about 2 or 3 months into me doing that, I finally found out that you can generate leads with a virtual assistant. So I searched on Facebook. I tried to figure out who the best virtual assistant company was. Finally found one. They put me on a call with one of their reps. I interviewed them, and from there, that's where my team really, really started. And I hired this girl named Karen. She still works with me today. This is, going on 6 years now. She still works with me today, and she's great. But it was just me and her, bro. She would generate a bunch of leads. I would just call the sellers, and time after time again, I would just keep on getting better at talking to sellers. And then boom, in a few months, I got my first deal. And from there, just kind of ended up being a snowball effect. It was the consistency in that one strategy that I was using that landed me the first deal.
I've been listening to like some of those podcasts, some of those videos that you put up. I really like a lot of your content, like especially being like based around like faith and stuff. I think that's awesome. I actually just got baptized a couple days ago.
Let's go! Really?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah, and just finding your channel, like talking about this business specifically, like and faith is awesome, and it's something that I really needed, like getting into it. But like to that note, I've been listening to a lot of those podcasts, and like you talk a lot about virtual assistants, and right now I'm just trying to stay consistent with driving with dollars, see if I can lock down a deal, and then get some funding for that. And I think that might be my next step. But right now I just want to stay consistent with this and see if I can like get something out of it.
Yes, bro. If I were to go back and I could, like, let's just say I went back to the first month when I started, I would probably drive for dollars. Here's what I would do. Instead of me just looking at a specific city, I would actually drive for dollars and door knock at the same time. I would go pull the data in a particular city like Worcester, like a Brockton, and I would only pull the data for pre-foreclosures. And I would go door knock those pre-foreclosures. I would also leave a note on the door that says something very simple that says, please call me, with my phone number on it. And then while I was doing that, in between going to all those addresses in that specific city that were definitely pre-foreclosures, I would add driving for dollar properties to my CRM. Yeah. Because the foreclosures, you'd probably, I don't know how much it is. Let's just say it's 50. Let's just say there's 50 pre-foreclosures in a city like Brockton. All right, well, it's going to take me maybe a week to drive through to every single one of those properties because it's, you're going to be hitting all sectors of town. And in between me driving from property to property, I'm just going to be adding properties to my system. And then when I get home, so I'd be doing that for the first half of my day. And then when I get home, I would call and text every single one of those leads that I just put into the CRM and follow up with the people that might have called me from the sticky note, or follow up with the people that might have answered the door when I was door knocking the pre-foreclosures. That's what I would do.
Yeah, for sure.
If you do that, bro, you'll end up at least with like, I bet within your first week, you'll have a handful of opportunities that you're at least working on, and you're going to call me and you're going to be like, yo, Mike, I have a seller who says they need to sell. I really don't know what to do. I don't know what the price is. What should we do?
Yeah, for sure. The only thing I'm worried about is, like I said, I'm 17. I'm in school right now. So, I don't want to be getting, I guess I could always just call them back, but I don't want to be getting calls, in the middle of the day and just not be there to answer. I feel like it's a bad look, but.
So what, are you on vacation right now?
I actually just took the day off. I'm not even going to lie to you.
You are a true entrepreneur, bro.
Hey, that's the plan.
Get your butt back in school. No, that's great, bro. But even if it's just on the weekends, like, or on your off time when you get out of school, just putting in a good like 2 or 3 hours. Like, we have somebody on the team that puts in maybe 2 hours a day because they work a full-time job. It's not ideal. It's not like our every single person on our team besides him is full-time in here banging the phones all day, but it still works. Like, he's still seeing opportunities, talking to people all day, getting deals to the finish line. So definitely with what you got, you have the time for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
For you, right now, what I would really focus on is just being consistent. Like, get in front of motivated sellers that might potentially look to sell their property and just do it on a consistent basis. If something like that pops up, like if you see a vacant piece of land or something, you can send it to somebody like myself, and I'll kind of give you the rundown of what you could do with it. But it's very time consuming to look at land. Like, you got to go in and you got to look at the zoning bylaws and all the requirements in that city. You got to figure out what the compliance has been for that particular city in regards to the MBTA law. It takes a little bit of time. And right now for you, since your time is kind of limited, since you're in school, I would be spending all your time trying to get in front of as many motivated sellers as possible.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Yeah, the only other thing I was just wondering about, like, it was just like being an attorney state, I can't find any information on that really. So I don't know if you have any, anything to comment on that.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. There's 2 forms of transactions. There's transactions that go through attorneys and transactions that go through title companies. Actually, some transactions people self-perform and don't go through either of those. But for the majority of transactions, they're done by either attorneys or title companies. For us, since we're an attorney state, Massachusetts is an attorney state, the attorneys will be the one that drafts up all the closing documents, like the settlement statement that has all the numbers on it, the deed that has, the ownership transfer information and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Typically it costs like maybe $1,000 to $2,000 for them to do all that. And your buyer would be paying for that anyway. So what will happen, what I did in the beginning is I didn't even have an attorney. I don't recommend you not having an attorney. You could definitely reach out to somebody, and it's great to get one on your team and, start building a rapport with them. But I didn't even have one in the beginning, if I'm being honest. I just went out, talked to motivated sellers, finally found a deal, put it on Facebook, found a buyer for it, and that buyer ended up having an attorney, and they kind of helped me through the process. So all the attorney or a title company does is they're the ones that do all the back-end paperwork to do the ownership transfer. So it's not a big deal like people make it seem, or people might make it seem like.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of all I had right now.
Let's go. And when you get to that point, once you get your first deal, I'll hook you up with a good attorney.
All right, for sure. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's all I got right now.
All right, bro. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, bro. Any help you need, just let me know.
For sure. Thank you.
All right, brother. Good luck.